you don't know until you know.
Exactly.
And so I remember when my dad died, someone said to me, welcome to the club that no one wants to belong to.
Oh,
And so
you don't want to know the half of it. I had a friend, and when her father passed away, she just kept sending me poo emojis. And I was like, and she goes, it sucks.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to help her. This was before my parents passed. And so I had asked a friend to make her a poo emoji cake. And I brought it over.
I love that.
And she opened up the box and she started to laugh. But the moments after the funeral's done, when you actually sit there and go, shoot, they're gone.
It's gone.
The importance is, and you told me this, you had a friend that would just keep checking in. So being around after is one of the key things. As a tip, if you have to help someone through grief, check in. It doesn't even have to be deep, right?
Yeah. And sometimes I learned this too. A friend of mine just lost her dad, and I check in and I tell her, though, you don't need to respond, because I think sometimes that's a responsibility too. When you're getting all these texts and people are saying I'm sorry, which is great, but sometimes you just don't want to reply. And so by giving people that grace to say, I'm thinking of you, but you don't need to reply. That's all.
Hi everyone, I'm back, and we're back with another Sandwich Years. For those of you first watching this for the first time, Sandwich Years is about taking care of the top bun, so that could be either your parents, aunts, uncles. We're also finding out some older siblings as well sometimes need some support, and so you're taking care of that. And then you also have the bottom bun, and so the bottom bun could be your kids, could be grandkids, could be nieces, nephews, could be some youth that you're looking out for. And we're also looking at fur babies now, because they're a lot of work too. So if you have a top bun and a bottom bun, you're the one in the middle. And so that means you're in the Sandwich Years. And so today I have a friend with me, and her name is Marcia. And so thank you, Marcia, for being here. Can you tell everybody who you are and how you're squeezed and blessed?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me. My name is Marcia. I'm happily married to my husband for 31 years. We have 3 kids, and I'm a Grammy for 2.
Grammy. So you're Grammy or grandma?
No,
or are we
Grammy, like the
Nana?
awards. Grammy, like the awards.
Grammy. I actually like that.
Thank you very much.
But not a glammy.
Because I'm a treat.
Okay, I like it. Okay, so let's talk about understanding. So this is your current situation right now, and it looks pretty clear. Like you got 2 layers. So actually, your kids are actually going to be in the Sandwich Year sooner or later. A little later, per se, because you're quite young. Let's talk about your top bun. So let's get a better understanding of what's going on there. So your parents and things like that.
So top bun. I lost my dad almost 2 years ago.
Okay.
And so that obviously is just like the squeezed and blessed. It was very stressful at the time. But yeah.
So when we think about dad, and this is a little bit emotional, I get it, because I'm actually, we've had many times of, we start talking, we laugh a bit, and then we just start to bawl. And we're not bawling in this episode.
Well, I'm a crier, so we have to be careful.
Oh, but I'm an ugly crier, and we talked about this. My husband's going to have my head if I cry in this episode. So we're going to have to figure this out, okay? Promise me?
I promise.
Okay. So dad, now talk to us a little bit of dad and what you went through before 2 years ago when he passed away.
So 7 years ago, my dad got diagnosed with a lung condition that was progressively degenerative. So we knew when he got diagnosed that things would get worse. And about 3 years ago, they started getting really worse. And so, he went from the most energetic, fun-filled guy to really a bit of a shell. Like he'd lost a lot of weight, and it was a tough time.
Okay. And from what I've heard about you telling me about your dad was like the kindest person out there. Giving and, oh, stop, we're going to cry. We're not crying yet. He was giving, and he did a lot of things, which has inspired you of what you were doing now.
Yeah.
So when your dad was first diagnosed, how old were your kids?
So my kids were, I have a 30-year-old now, 28 and 25. So 7 years ago, they would have been 23, 21 and 20 or I can't do the math. I can't even think. I don't know. But when he first got it, it was just sort of, again, they knew he had it. He was breathing heavily a little bit, but they didn't really see the decline. It wasn't until the last 3 years that he really started declining and losing the weight and stuff like that they noticed.
Okay.
I'm not sobbing yet.
Good thing is you're a pretty crier.
Until I hit my head.
Okay, so kids didn't really notice anything until he started declining fairly well. But in sense of you juggling the both. So, I mean, dad is with mom?
So dad is with mom. And so as he got worse, we ended up having to move him into, they moved him into the retirement living. So where she would get help to take care of him. So we moved her closer. We moved them closer to us, which was just a blessing.
So both of them would live together?
Both of them lived together at the residence.
Okay.
So it was much easier. But at the same time, my daughter had a daughter, it was our first grandchild, and they moved back home with us at the same time. So when I say sandwich years, I was in a double-decker, actually, because it was just not only kids, but it was grandkids. But my girlfriend said it best. It wasn't a sandwich. It was a panini-pressed.
Sheesh.
So
let's dissect being a grandma. Like, I mean,
greatest blessing of all.
Okay.
Greatest blessing of all. Just a little more difficult when they're living with you.
Okay. And so, I mean, you went through, did you go help with the Lamaze? Like, were you in it or were you kind of being on the surface? Because I hear from a lot of newly grandparents is that you want to give them space, but you kind of want to not let them go through the same things you went through.
For sure.
And so how did you navigate that piece? Or did you have to have a conversation? Or did you get spoken to by your daughter to say, back off?
so they tell you where your place is.
Okay.
But the difficult part is when they moved back in with us, I became the caregiver for a little while for my granddaughter. So my daughter went back to work. Mm-hmm. And so that was a full-time job. So with my dad and my granddaughter, it was definitely squeezed.
Yes. You were
I love that expression. Definitely squeezed. And definitely blessed, but definitely squeezed.
Definitely squeezed. So you were kind of sitting there going, how's this? Would you bring your granddaughter with you if you had to go to an appointment or have to deal with something? Or were you could navigate somebody else to go?
I could try to navigate something most times, yes.
Okay. Yeah. So it'd be almost like, I'd call it, and it's a new term I'm bringing up, the bounce. I can't help because I'm doing this, so bounce it over there.
Right.
And so do you have other siblings you bounce
So I'm an only child.
Okay.
So my support system came through my husband and family. So my dad was one of 13, so his siblings really stepped into, and it was great.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so
takes a village.
It does take a village. And you know what? That's also when families tend to get a lot closer when they need to be. And so
they definitely do.
And I'm lucky as well. Like I think you have to look at it as a luck to have that. And if you don't have family, like a big family, you're friends.
Exactly.
And then if it's not friends, then you actually look for support groups and stuff like that. Like
there's a lot of help out there.
Exactly.
You just have to look for it. And
exactly.
So, definitely blessed to have that sort of support system. But it's hard. And it's something that we don't, as we grow, we don't talk about. We don't ever realize we are going to be at this point. And so taking care of your parents was never even something on your radar.
No.
Until it is.
Because we're told you need to go have children.
That's right.
Find a career or do something. Do something. And then it's like, and then retire. But there's no, like, taking care of your family is also, and when I say family, your parents,
of course,
and potentially siblings that are older as well. You've got to make sure that there's room for that. So, okay, so grandbaby, love, absolutely adore. And so how many do you have?
I have 2. So my grandson is 4 months old.
Okay.
But mom and dad live 7 minutes away from us, so we see him as a blessing, and we don't see him every day, but it's beautiful. It's grandparents, beautiful.
Beautiful. We get to spoil them and give them back.
Exactly.
Because that's what I've been told. Not yet. And my kids, I don't want to be a grandmother yet. You're in your teens still. Give me some time. Give me time.
Always blessings.
Always blessing. And you know what? I will be probably the worst one because they're going to look at me, and I used to do this too. You never gave me that. Yeah, I didn't. But I'm giving it to them now. Right?
But I think this is the thing with the grandkids. You're at a different stage. So you're more present and you enjoy every moment. You don't need to worry about the house. You know that it goes quickly. And so every moment is a blessing. And so I love learning from her. I think she's my greatest teacher.
Ah, awesome. Okay, so we went through the panini, and the panini was
The panini was tight. I was tight.
but we got through.
We did.
We got through, and
did.
we know that. I think one of the things with grief and dealing with grief, unless you've dealt with it of someone of your core group or something, it doesn't go away.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. You find tools to get you through. You try to potentially, and I say this from myself, and you're shaking your head going, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I used to hear, and I used to be the one to say, it's going to be better. It's going to get better. You're going to get over it. You don't.
But here's the thing, though. You don't know until you know.
Exactly.
And so I remember when my dad died, someone said to me, welcome to the club that no one wants to belong to.
Oh,
And so
you don't want to know the half of it. I had a friend, and when her father passed away, she said to me, she just kept sending me poo emojis. And I was like, and she goes, it sucks.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to help her. This was before my parents passed. And so I had asked a friend to make her a poo emoji cake. And I brought it over.
I love that.
And she had family over. And I brought it over, and I brought it over, and she's just like, she's like, Shantz, she opened up the box and she started to laugh.
Aww.
And it was probably the laugh she's never had for quite a bit, because she was really, and so she started laughing, and then her brother peeks in, he starts laughing. And then she goes, shoot, I got to put this in the fridge. My relatives are going to open the fridge and see this emoji cake. But it gave us a little laughter. And so the joke was, when my mom passed away, she came over, I would say maybe 2 days in, because my mom passed away at the tail end of COVID. We couldn't really all hang out and stuff, right? So I get a text from my husband going, hey, your friend stopped by. I'll say her name, Joyce. Joyce stopped by, and she dropped off something. And I was like, what? She dropped off something? Because people were literally just dropping cake.
Right.
And I think one of the things we're going to start talking about is, how can people be help people through grief and stuff like that. So I go, okay, she dropped off, and I'm like, okay. And I was just running around trying to make sure that everything was taken care of. I get home and I open up a box, and it's a poo
cake.
emoji
Perfect.
cake.
Perfect.
And then my husband's like, what? And then I took a picture of it and sent it to my sister. My sister's like, so do I get half of that? And so we just had to laugh.
It is.
But that is something that helps people through grief. It's just sometimes finding...
It's the smallest kindness that people bestow upon you. And as you go through it and you learn what people do, you think, wow, that really helped. And so you pass that on.
Yeah. And so one of the things, and I guess this is more, and actually very timely, grief. How do we get through it? Some of the things we can do. And then if we have friends that are going through it, what can we do? So let's start first and talk about, when you're not feeling yourself because you're having memories that make you sad. What can you do? What do you do?
So for me, what I do is I believe that grief is love. And so when I get sad and I think about him, I just know that it's because I love him so much and I miss him. And so it's always good to do things for yourself or reach out to a friend, or I have such a great support system, but they always touch base. And so, yeah, it's been an interesting journey though.
Yeah. I remember you telling me about a friend that just kept checking in. So there's a funeral that happens, and during the funeral, everyone's there.
Everyone.
Which, you know what, touches your heart. And sometimes, too, you sit there and go, were you there? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Because you're also in a glaze.
Yeah.
But the moments after the funeral's done, when you actually sit there and go, shoot, they're gone.
It's gone.
The importance is, and you told me this, you had a friend that would just keep checking.
Checking
checking in. So being around after
Yes.
is one of the key things. As a tip, if you have to help someone through grief, check in.
Check in.
It doesn't even have to be deep, right?
Yeah. And sometimes I learn this too. A friend of mine just lost her dad. And I check in and I tell her, though, you don't need to respond. Because I think sometimes that's a responsibility too. When you're getting all these texts and people are saying, I'm sorry, which is great. But sometimes you just don't want to reply. And so by giving people that grace to say, I'm thinking of you, but you don't need to reply. That's all. I think that's a beautiful gift.
Yeah, I got some of those. And actually, they were quite soothing in sense of sitting there going, the expectation.
Yes.
And so if you can, lower some of your expectations for somebody who's dealing with grief. Because to be quite honest, if they've never been through it before, they don't know how to navigate.
No, they do not. And one of the best gifts I think you can give someone that's grieving is to buy them a meal or to, provide something that they don't have to deal with or think about. I think that is a true gift of healing.
Yeah, I had. It was funny you say that. We had one of our friends come over because, as I told you, when my mom passed, it was COVID, right? So people couldn't come. It was a 9-person funeral,
Right.
And so we heard one day a lot of my friends were like, "Hey, what can we do?" And I was just like, "Talk to my call Nige, text Nige," and I think we had meals right for a whole month. And then my aunt got in there as well. And she was like, she would just text my husband, pick it up. And he's like, I don't know what to pick it up, but I know we're getting something to eat. And I was like, well, I don't care. We'll just eat. Because that is one of the things you don't want to think about.
You don't want to think about.
And you probably might even have really an appetite.
You probably don't have an appetite or you don't have time or capacity to cook.
Okay. All right. So what we can do for others.
My best advice, I think, to give someone who's grieving is don't ask them what they need. They have no idea what they need. They are sad. Just do something. Anything. Like I said, whether it's the text, the phone call, dropping off food, sending a poop emoji cake, do something.
I'm going to coin it. It's trademarked, the poop emoji cake. It's from Sandwich Years. We'll put that link together.
I like that.
Do something that might put a smile on their face.
100%. Make them laugh. Send a joke. I mean, again,
be careful.
I was going to say that could be, but know your audience. I said, know who it is.
Know the timing.
Know the timing, of course.
And also lower expectations.
Yes.
So I mean, don't layer on another level of expectations because that's just adding to the heaviness. That's adding to the squeeze.
Right.
And so be a little bit more forgiving.
Yep.
Allow them to make a mistake. Exactly. Allow them to...
And know that they're in grief, and grief takes different forms for different people.
Yeah, and actually you don't really lose it. It kind of comes back. And I mean, every holiday, everything like that. Like, it was funny, one of our best friends, he had lost his dad before my parents, and it was near Christmas time, and he comes over and he gives me a little bag, and in the bag... I opened the bag and it's fuzzy socks, and I looked at him. I'm like, how do you? And a book. Aww. And he said, I just looked at him and I'm like, how did you know?
Oh, see,
I love my fuzzy socks. So if you want to send me socks, I love fuzzy socks. But little things.
It's the little things that always matter, right? Okay. It's the little things that always matter. The little things that make you smile or knowing someone's thinking about you is probably one of the greatest gifts you can give someone.
Very true. Very true. So even a drop to say thinking about you or sending love, comments like that.
Yeah. And you do not need to reply.
Yeah.
Because I think that takes away that expectation that they need to do something for you.
Okay. And it's okay not to know.
It is.
It's totally okay not to know how to deal with that person, but even just the reach. So funeral, definitely, if you can be there, be there.
Exactly.
Be there just to be there to support them. Some cultures, they give money in cards, and that's kind of how it works. Some cultures will give gift cards too for lunch, for dinner, so that they can choose on their own. Mm-hmm. But you don't have to give anything.
You don't.
Just being there is a very good support as well. Exactly. Understanding the rules and how things have to engage as well. So like some based on different cultures, sometimes you can bring kids, sometimes you don't bring kids.
Exactly.
And so understanding that, and if you don't know, just ask. Because the person will easily be like, actually, no kids this time, or definitely bring the kids. Everyone is welcome. We just want to love on this person.
Exactly.
Okay, so helping others, and I know you do very well with that. What about for ourselves? So for me, one of the things that I had to do while I was grieving or just trying to figure out was a little bit of this program was a little bit of a labor of love for my family that I've lost. Bringing it to fruition, having discussions with other people in the sandwich years is helping me heal. So developing or building something. What did you do? And I know if you don't say it, I'm going to tell you what you did, but what did you do?
Well, I think the kindest circle is the legacy to my father.
Okay.
And so...
for those who don't know, can you tell everybody first what the kindest circle is?
The kindest circle is a community gathered together. It's basically a bunch of kind humans in the world. And so we have 4 pillars to that kindest circle. Kindness to others, kindness to ourselves. We raise money for charity, and we just make life fun. And at the end of the day, it is all about having fun.
Okay. And so with the kindness circle, you said, like a dedication to your dad.
It is.
Because from what you told me before, he was one of the kindest people you knew.
He was one of the kindest people I know. And so that's the legacy he left. And I love knowing that that's what he left. He left everyone better just knowing him.
See, and I didn't cry, but I'm this close. So that's one of the things. Self-care might be that you are developing something for someone or a dedication to them as well. That might help you through your grief. It doesn't have to be grandiose.
No,
but
never.
it can be small. And when you hear Marcia's story, and she will tell us more about Kindness Circle, it started small. And it actually evolved into something that, to me, I'm just like... And like for your birthday, what did you decide to do?
So for my birthday, I decided to do a 52-week kindness challenge where every week for 1 full year, we put out an act of kindness. And there's such a ripple effect to kindness. And so the more we put out, the more the world just becomes a brighter place. And so at the end of the day, that's really what life is all about, right? Making things better for people.
Okay. So that's it. So self-care. So is there anything else you do for a self-care for yourself?
Yes. So for me, during my squeeze,
panini-pressed
panini
days.
press. Yep.
Well, we're going to have a sequel of sandwiches called Panini Press.
I stopped working out because I love working out, but I kind of stopped because I was tired.
And you had no time.
And so I had no time. So my recommendation to everyone is keep pouring into yourself because you can't pour from an empty cup.
Okay. And so with that said, you went after, like, not after, but while you were trying to cope, you went back to working out?
Well, I was trying to cope. I tried to, but this is hindsight. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And so I would have kept doing that had I known, but I didn't.
Okay.
And then I think it makes you more tired.
Okay. So you weren't finding, and
I was not finding the time for myself.
Okay.
This is only outside. It's always, when you're inside it, it's easier. It's easier to look outside, right? So
Yeah.
when you're in it, it's just like you have capacity for nothing else. But if I was giving advice to people now, is like, take care of yourself so you could better take care of the people that need you.
Okay. So working out is one of the things that you enjoy.
I love it.
Kindness Circle is another thing that you develop that you enjoy. It's a program that that drives you, that helps you through.
It does.
Anything else that you do? Like, do you go eat with friends?
Oh,
do you go to the spa?
All of the above. I'd love the spa. My husband and I like traveling, so we travel quite a bit.
So traveling is another thing, a joy that you can do.
It's a joy.
Okay.
And again, spending time with my grandkids.
Okay, spending time with kids. And if you don't have grandkids, some youth are doing something for
Anything.
the youth. Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
Because kids are fun. They bring you back to the things that we forget about.
I think it's the innocence with them.
It is. And the joy.
And the joy. Yes, exactly. They're joyful after the simple things.
That's it.
Like the box that you give them the expensive gift in.
That's
They put the
usually
gift to the side and then they find the box. Is that what your grandchildren do?
Oh, totally.
So do you get them a really good box?
Really good boxes.
So get a really good box. The gift doesn't have to be too good. Could be their own teddy bear, to be quite honest, but they love that box. So surround yourself with people that love you.
That's it.
Is another way to kind of help you kind of take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm. And find joy. Like, honestly, like whatever makes you happy is, you need to embrace that. So if even going for a walk by yourself, having a cup of coffee, whatever sort of sparks that joy. My father used to call my granddaughter Pure Joy. And we realized that that he was the Pure Joy OG. He found the joy in everything. And so every year I pick a word that I like to focus on, and this year has been joy. And so by me finding my joy, it's been amazing. It's been a really healing journey for me.
So finding joy in
anything, whatever you love. And that's a difference. I think grief is so different for different people.
Okay.
And it's not the same. So you have to find what works for you.
Okay. But what works for you?
Oh, finding joy and finding my people and laughing and just, having fun.
And so, and you'll find your fun. So you said something about walking. So it's interesting. And those who know me, I don't like going to the gym. My trainer knows it was a bad scene. My trainer did not love me. Well, she did love me, but me and her had, I owed her a lot of wine with that cheese because I was always complaining. So what I found though is when I went for a nice walk, my brain would clear up. Now, not in the winter, but a walk would help. So if you don't like the heavy working out, try maybe a walk.
A walk in nature is probably one of the most healing things that you could do for yourself.
Okay. I think what I'm trying to kind of gauge at is giving people ideas of things that they might find joyful.
Yeah.
And to be quite honest, I did not like walking before, but now I seem to like it. And so it's about trying new things.
It is trying new things.
Rediscovering yourself. And so that was another thing that I started doing to deal with my grief and also just to take care better of myself is figure out what I like and what I don't like anymore. And trying things. Yep. So like me traveling to you, you're going to different countries, right? Like you're not trying to go to the same one every single time.
We have a rule. It's called one and done. We go to a place and we love it and take it for what it is, but we don't usually go back because the world's a big place and it's amazing to see new adventures.
Okay. All right. So no, this is good. So in sense of self-care, self-love, first let's go. Grief. Any tips on grief?
Tips on grief is that everyone's journey is different and there are different moments that strike you. You could be totally fine 1 minute and then the next minute you are in tears. And it's okay. I think that's another thing that we don't like to talk about grief, or we don't talk to someone about their lost person because we feel like we're going to upset them. But I love it. And if you talk about my dad, I usually will end up crying, but I love it. I love that you ask about him because he was amazing.
Awesome. So I call them little triggers. And so as you go through grief, you know what your triggers are, but you sometimes find triggers that you don't know.
That's right. That's right.
Hence why you might be in a restaurant one time and both of you are bawling. And that's literally what we did last week. But be patient with yourself, I think, is one of the things.
That's a great one.
Be kind to yourself. And so one of the things from the kindness crew and the kindness circle and everything that I've kind of gotten from is kindness to others is one, kindness to yourself.
So important.
And sometimes we don't put that as a priority. And I think we need to forgive ourselves for crying sometimes and forgive ourselves to be like, you know what? I am waking up late, or I'm going to be late. I'm an adult. I'm going to be late, or I'm going to eat cookies, or I'm going to eat cookies for breakfast. But you have to forgive yourself and be kind to yourself. If that's something you need at the moment, then just do it. As long as it's legal. But just do it.
I agree.
So grief-wise, understand that piece. Now, self-care-wise?
Self-care, honestly, I think is what you need to do things for you. And whether that be working out, taking a walk, going to the spa, reading a book, actually doing nothing. Sitting and saying that is a very hard thing to do. But if you take even 5 minutes for yourself sometimes, it just regenerates you.
I think you hit it. And I don't think a lot of people just doing nothing. And And the funny part is my calendar is not, there is no nothing space. But the joy of having nothing there, I should actually enjoy that. And I actually was in a session today, and they reminded you to schedule joy in.
Schedule it. I think it's so important.
And I was sitting there going, I schedule everything else. Why wouldn't I schedule joy? Like doing nothing. This is my nothing time.
Yep.
And so, okay, so self-care could look like a different things, and self-care will look like different things for other
different people. For sure.
But I think the key is just understanding what it is for you and trying things to figure out what causes joy for you.
Exactly. And you'll know it because it'll make you feel better. So if it doesn't make you feel better, that's not your self-care. Right?
Okay. All right. Any lasting tips for anybody?
No.
In the sandwich years, or sorry, the panini years. I'm going to call it the panini years, to be quite honest. But any lasting tips for the panini years?
No, I think you said it best. Honestly, be kind with yourself. Be kind with yourself, because if you take care of you, you can take care of everybody.
There you go. All right. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
If you want to hear more about her, but not even the kindness circle, I urge you to, because it does remind you to be kind to others. It totally reminds you to be kind to yourself, and then it also gives you opportunities to be kind to others in a sort of organized fashion. And also, kindness is cool. She paid me to say that.
Kindness is cool.
But definitely, if you have any comments at the bottom, feel free comment. And also, you want her back, because you'll want everybody back. Definitely let me know. But thank you very much for this conversation.
You're a blessing. Thank you.